Outer Wilds was initially released on the 28th of May 2019. It was re-added to Gamepass on January 6th, 2022, and it will change your life. The game was developed by Mobius Digital and published by Annapurna Interactive. Before getting into the review, we should note that we will only be showing limited footage of this game. Usually, we like to show relevant footage to what we're talking about, but Outer Wilds is a game centered around discovery and knowledge. This is a game that you only get to experience once, as any spoilers can destroy the flow of the game. We usually keep our reviews spoiler-free, but we will be taking extra care with that today to preserve this experience for you, should you decide to play it. It should also be noted that there may be spoilers in the comments section of this video. Do not venture down there if you haven't played the game. Before we start, babe, what score do you think I gave it out of 25?
24.
No, I gave it got a perfect score. Spoilers for the review, boys, it gets a perfect score. Outer Wilds gives you all the tools you need from the very start. This is a totally free-form experience. Your goal is to explore the solar system that is presented to you and uncover the narrative with each new discovery. The starting planet, Timber Hearth, has everything you need to get started, and even inspired. Every main gameplay feature has an optional tutorial here, but it is perfectly in theme to forego the tutorials and figure things out yourself. You can talk to everyone here for some great interactions, and it truly feels like a living, breathing world. There are plenty of tools at your disposal throughout the game. At the heart of everything is your ship, your primary means of exploring the solar system. Controls can take some getting used to, but they are intuitive, and the tutorial for these controls does a great job at visualizing what your ship is doing from an outside perspective. You will get into some kerfuffles with your ship, but it's all part of the experience of the game. If your ship does break, fixing it is simple. And who knows, you might discover something new if you crash land somewhere unexpected. Inside your ship is your ship log. This will show all of your discoveries and how they connect, and is great for helping you decide where to look next. You also have a spacesuit with included jetpack. This suit allows you to traverse areas unlike your homeworld with ease, although be aware, oxygen and jetpack fuel are limited. Finally, your ship has an autopilot feature that allows you to select a place using your ship log or map, and fly there without interruption, provided nothing gets in your way. You have a signal scope that allows you to hone in on the signals of the cosmos, and a scout launcher that lets you get a glimpse of where you're heading just in case you're a bit nervous about going in first. There's also a translator that will help you out on your journey. Each area of the solar system is insanely unique, and you will find surprises at every corner. This is one of the best designed game worlds I have experienced. Nothing is here without purpose, and everything has a sense of life. Whilst Outer Wilds is not a horror game, each place is uniquely terrifying in its own existential way. The game nails the weirdness of space. It can be a little hard to know where to go next sometimes, and if you really get stuck, you may be tempted to look for hints. My advice is to avoid that at all costs. But if you absolutely do need a push in the right direction, the lovely people at r/Outer Wilds will be more than happy to help you out without spoiling anything else. I've left a link to those guys in the description. I hate to have to be so secretive, but rest easy knowing that the gameplay here is fantastic. It is tight-knit, has a decent learning curve in some areas, and facilitates the narrative perfectly. 5 out of 5 is the only way to describe it. Outer Wilds takes its own unique art style and owns it. Graphical fidelity is not the aim of the game here. Uniqueness is. Each area in the solar system has its own unique look, feel, and sound. It's sometimes hard to believe that two completely varied areas are just an autopilot trip away from each other. The game is indie beauty at its peak. The simplistic art style means that information is easy to discern from the environment. This is key in tying into narrative and gameplay. Things are hidden in the environment for you to find, but knowing what you can interact with is always easy. Andrew Pralo is a genius with this soundtrack. Every area of the solar system has its own unique score and atmosphere. There are light banjo riffs and terrifying synth waves. The main theme is integrated into the gameplay beautifully, and the way it all comes together is just magic. With a simple yet effective art style that serves gameplay and narrative and manages to look gorgeous on its own, topped with a soundtrack that will make you feel cozy one moment and existentially anxious the next, Outer Wilds earns its second 5 out of 5. We're going to have to be super secretive here still, but know that the narrative is phenomenal. This narrative is completely freeform and unravels with your discoveries. A jaw-dropping revelation from the end of my journey could have been the spark that gets you exploring at the start of yours. There are revelations both big and small, and each one has a profound effect on how you proceed with the game. With this in mind, I'd actually like to know what your favourite moment in the narrative was. This can be in the overall narrative or just an interesting situation you got yourself into. Leave a comment letting me know, and consider subscribing whilst you're down there, it really helps out the channel. The overall narrative is a wonderful story that weaves and connects throughout the solar system as a whole, and hopefully will have a profound effect on your mindset in regards to big topics. This is a grand story that requires the player to pay attention and think, and the reward for doing so is second to none. We have to keep this short as we really can't spoil anything. Sorry, just know that we're giving the narrative here a 5 out of 5 for good reason. Outer Wilds is a fully complete experience. There is a DLC, but that is its own separate entity and should be treated as such. Cut corners are nowhere to be found here. The game takes up just under 8GB on our system, and the DLC is an extra 10MB file. Really good stuff. Performance overall is great, and ran smoothly for us throughout our entire playthrough. Just be aware that the game is heavily physics based and might have some issues running on last gen consoles or a lower end PC. You also have plenty of great settings here. Basic gameplay options allow you to invert your player and ship camera separately, turn vibration on or off, and tweak player and ship sensitivity separately with sliders. There's also a reduced frights option for the DLC, and if you're like me, you'll need it. Advanced gameplay options allow you to turn off elements that make the experience a little less daunting. You can disable autopilot, shiplog rumor mode, which shows how your findings connect. Shiplog notifications, which tell you when you find something important, can also be turned off. You can also disable button prompts if you so wish. Outer and inner stick dead zones can also be tweaked here. Pre-flight checklist packs in a few quality of life options. You can choose how your jetpack is controlled, and if your translator equips automatically when applicable. There are also options to freeze time when reading text, if you so wish. There are only 2 audio sliders, SFX and music, which is a tad disappointing. There are also major language options, and you can choose the speed that text shows up on your screen when you talk to someone. Controls are grouped into sections and can be completely rebound to your heart's content. Really lovely to see. Graphics settings are limited to gamma and dithering sliders. As with audio, what's here is useful, but it would have been nice to see a bit more. There aren't any subtitle options, but the base game subtitles are easily legible and work to great effect. There is no voice acting in the game, and proper care has been taken to make sure that everything is legible. Outer Wilds is a solid package unto itself with no missing features. A full-fledged DLC if you want more, but also that doesn't detract from the main game. A tiny hard drive footprint and a great array of settings. You can already see where this is going. Outer Wilds gets a 5 in the specs department. Outer Wilds took me 17 hours to beat. This game doesn't waste your time and is a completely freeform experience. There were absolutely points where I hit roadblocks and had to overcome my fears to progress, but that never detracted from the experience. If anything, it added to it in spades. There is plenty of meat here, but Outer Wilds doesn't overstay its welcome. If you finish the game and are hungry for more, there is a DLC that retails for $15 or £12.49. The DLC could be a full game unto itself, and is just as fantastic as the base game. There is nothing more to say. Mobius Digital has crafted a fantastic experience here, and continue to look after it with a few patches along the way. This is a game crafted with love, and absolutely one that respects your time. 5 out of 5. Clean sweep. Outer Wilds is worth your time. Period. 25 is the highest score we can give a game, and honestly, if I could give Outer Wilds more, I absolutely would. This game is something really special, and I urge you more than anything to give it a try. It might not click right away, but once you hit the point of no return, Outer Wilds is truly an experience like no other. We did our absolute best to hide everything the game has to surprise you with, and we hope that we piqued your interest with what we did show. Now go, explore the cosmos. This game is pure magic, and it really is something you should experience in your lifetime.